Good morning to all of you. So we have started this chapter 8, electricity. In that we have discussed the following contents like electricity, various sources of electricity, electrical energy and its measurement, electrical power, various types of units of power, transmission of the power from generating station to consumer, then supply of electricity. Then in the previous video we have discussed these contents: household distribution of power, consumption of electrical energy in the houses, power rating of the common electrical appliances, electrical fuse, household circuit system we have discussed, earthing we have discussed, and the various hazards of electricity we have discussed. So today these contents we are going to discuss. What are the safety precautions to be taken while we are using the electricity? Then what is static electricity? Electric charges, movement of the electrons, the law of electrostatic attraction and repulsion, conservation of charge, conductors and insulators, and methods of charging the conductor. So these are the contents that we will discuss in the today's video. So let's start our discussion. So safety precautions to be taken while using electricity. We all know our human body is a very good conductor of electricity. So we should take some safety precautions whenever we are working with the electricity. Like you should never touch bare or broken wires. Bare means the coating of the wires, the coating of wire is not there, then you should not touch the bare wire or broken wire. You should never touch appliances, switches with wet hands, because it may be the chance that that surface contains a free charge. So if you touch that with the wet hands, then you will get a shock. Never overload a circuit. Do not insert too many plugs in a single socket. It might lead to the problem of overloading where a high amount of current has been drawn. Never use electric appliances in the wet places. Okay, you should never use any electric appliance in the wet places. Do not push anything into the socket. If the socket is not able to accommodate your plug, then you should not forcefully insert it inside that socket. Never put nails into the walls near the switches. Okay, so whenever you are putting the nails into the walls, then you must be sure that there should not be any wire, because the nail is made up of iron, and iron is a very good conductor of electricity. So by chance if it get inserted into that wire, then you might feel the shock. Do not use electric appliances with old or frayed wires. Okay, so if the wire of the electrical appliance is not in the good condition, then you should not use, because it might create the problem. So these are the few safety precautions that you should take whenever you are using the electricity. Okay, so do not operate any wire without any supervision. You should wear the rubber gloves at least, in order to avoid the shock. Whenever there is any repair work, like if your TV is under the repair or fridge, and then do not insert the plug. Do not operate any switch with the wet hands. Do not cut when the plug is inserted inside the socket. Do not overload the circuit. Okay, so these are the few safety precautions that you should take whenever you are working with an electric circuit. Now, what is electricity? So the word electricity was derived from a Greek word electron, which means ember, a kind of resin produced by the certain plants. About 600 BC, Thales of Miletus found that after rubbing a piece of ember with wool, it would attract light objects like tiny pieces of dry paper, grass, feather, etc. But the William Gilbert, the father of electricity, explained about attraction of tiny substances by rubbing with a wool. Gilbert called such substances as electrica. Now if a plastic comb is brought near the pieces of paper, it will not attract the paper until unless the comb is so if a plastic comb is brought near the pieces of the paper, it will not attract the paper unless the comb is rubbed with dry hair. That is a very familiar phenomena that you all must have been familiar with. For example, suppose if you take a glass rod and a silk cloth. So when a glass rod and a silk cloth are not rubbed with each other, they do not attract the paper. But what happens if you rub the glass rod with the silk cloth? Then it attracts the pieces of the paper. What is the reason? Reason is the formation of the static charges. Similarly, an inflated balloon put against the wall slides down, but if it is rubbed with the woolen material, then it sticks to the wall like this. So if you put this balloon against the wall, then it will slides down, but if it is rubbed with the woolen material, then it sticks to the wall. Similarly, when two balloons are rubbed with a woolen material and brought close to each other, they move away from each other, that is, they repel each other. So there must be something that has come on these surfaces due to which they are behaving like this. So what is this? That is the electric charge. Now what happens whenever you rub a comb against dry hair or a balloon against woolen material? It produces a force which attracts as well as repels object, and this force is called electrostatic force. The comb, balloon, glass rod and silk are said to be electrically charged when they are rubbed against hair or woolen clothes. They are said to have electrical charges. If these charges are not allowed to flow, then it is known as the static electricity. If these charges are not allowed to flow, then it is called as static electricity. Now we know that the body which contains electric charge on it is called as charged body, and the body which does not contain any charge, any electric charge on it, is called as uncharged body. So a charged body attracts an uncharged body, and insulators can be charged with static electricity. Now we will study about movement of the electrons. So when a glass rod is rubbed with a silk cloth, it loses the electrons to the silk cloth, and this happens because of the free electrons in the glass rod, which are less tightly bound as compared to the silk cloth. So when the glass rod loses the electrons, that means glass rod becomes positively charged and the silk cloth becomes negatively charged. Due to this, as we know also that opposite charges attract each other, so the glass rod has deficiency of the electrons and the silk cloth has excess of electrons, therefore it becomes negatively charged, so they attract each other. So from there we can study now law of electrostatic repulsion and attraction. According to the law of electrostatic attraction and repulsion, two like charges repel each other. Like here you can see two positive charges and two negative charges, they will repel each other, and two unlike and opposite charges attract each other. So this is the law of electrostatic attraction or repulsion. Let us understand with some examples. Take two glass rods rubbed with silk cloth. Suspend one glass rod using a silk thread from the stand and bring the other glass rod near it. we see that both the glass rod moves to tend away from each other because both the glass rods are positively charged, therefore they repel each other. Like we have seen in the previous example, whenever you rub the glass rod with the silk cloth, then what happens? The glass rod attains the positive charge. So due to which, if two glass rods are there, then they will have same type of charge, so they will start to repel each other. When you take two ebonite rods rubbed with fur and you suspend one ebonite rod using a silk thread from the stand and bring the other rod near it, we see that ebonite rods move or tend to away from each other because both the ebonite rods are negatively charged. Again, they repel each other too. So we have seen that two like charges are repelling each other. Now if you take one glass rod rubbed with silk and another ebonite rod rubbed with fur and you brought them near to each other, so we know that glass rod acquires an electropositive nature. Glass rod acquires a positive charge, so it is of electropositive nature, while the ebonite rod acquires an electronegative nature, and hence the two rods attract each other. So always remember, like charges repel each other and unlike charges attract each other. So these are the few conclusions that we can make. The charge produced on ebonite rod that is rubbed with fur is opposite to the charge produced on the glass rod that is rubbed with the silk cloth. That is why they are attracting each other. And two like charged rods repel each other and two unlike charged rods attract each other. Next is conservation of charge. So it is the principle that the total electric charge in an isolated system never changes. Now what does it mean? The net quantity of electric charge, the amount of positive charge minus the amount of negative charge of the universe, is always conserved. That is, the net charge of an isolated system will always remains constant. Okay, we also know that whenever we study about the atom, the number of electrons always equal to number of the protons. That is why we say that an atom is always electrically stable. In other words, we can say that charge can neither be created nor be destroyed, and there is total conservation of the charge. Suppose if you take two bodies, one is the neutral body and other contains the 10 coulomb of charge. Now initially both bodies separated, where body 1 is having positive charge, where body 2 is neutral, that is no charge. Now due to conservation of the principle, electron starts flow from neutral body to charged body, so that net charge of the entire system remains the same. So this is known as the principle of conservation of the charge, that is the net charge on the system always remains constant. So now what are conductors and insulators? The materials that allow electricity to pass through them are called as conductors. And the conductors conduct electric current. We already knew that metals are good conductor of electricity. So electric wires are made of metals that act as conducting materials, and therefore they are used to make electric circuits. For example, copper. Copper is the most familiar one that is used to make the electric wires. Then silver is known as the best conductor of electricity, gold and aluminium. So here are the few familiar examples to you. The metals, all the metals are good conductor of electricity. So they are used to like copper is always used to make the electric wires in order to have the good conduction of the electricity, or in order to have the good flow of charges. On the contrary, the materials that do not allow electricity to pass through them are called as insulators. So insulators oppose electric current, and therefore they are used as protection from the dangerous effects of the electricity. For example, plastic, rubber, pure water. Okay, distilled water is a very good insulator. Mica, wood, glass, thermocol. Okay, so these are the very good insulators. Now water is a good conductor of electricity, we already know, but in its purest form, that is distilled water, it acts as an insulator and is used in the batteries. Okay, that is why it is always preferred to, it is always said to fill the batteries with the distilled water, because it is a good insulator. Now we understood the reason why the plugs and switches are covered with the insulating materials, because they do not allow the electricity to pass through them, and when they do not allow, then that electricity is not fatal to the human beings. So these are the few familiar examples: plastic, rubber, glass. So these are the good insulators that do not allow the electric current to pass through it. Okay, so that's it for today. In the next video we will discuss the topics of, in the next video we will discuss the remaining topics. Thank you.